Good afternoon. In this video, I'm going to show you that Peter Ruckman was not a King James Onlyist. He tells his students to go to Greek and Hebrew lexicons. And we know from Whipplinger that always Greek and Hebrew lexicons are corrupt. But he's going to use that, like he's going to show you something from the Hebrew and Greek that you can't get from the English. Like he loves the idea of giving the Greeks as an apostate Bible. In Greek, a bit of a divorcement. He loves that. Goes to the Greek for that. See that? The apostate Bible. Okay, so he's got here page 8. Let me see. Use of reference materials. Use any material you can get your hands on to teach the book. You do not use the book. You use books to teach the book. Teach the book. Any material is legitimate, including books of illustrations, almanacs, autobiographies, battle accounts, personal testimonies, Greek and Hebrew lexicons are legitimate. Who's the real King James Bible believers, people? Who are the real King James Bible believers? Whipplinger came out with that issue on the lexicons. She had the big split with Waite. Waite was a TR guy. Essentially speaking, that's what Ruckman is. Ruckman's having you. Waite doesn't change any English words, but he thinks he can find something on the Greek and Hebrew to tell you what the English word really means. Just like Breaking did with doulos. He was telling you the word servant really means slave. And he gave you a word there, and he didn't tell you that in Greek and Hebrew, context determines and can have different meanings, which he's supposed to do. He can do it. In fact, he goes here. Okay, so he tells you go Greek and Hebrew lexicons. Now, the book, the King James only belief is that you don't need any Hebrew and Greek. This is Nicolaitism, people. Only the people who know Hebrew and Greek are going to Hebrew and Greek. A teacher should not be above his students in the sense of what he can reference. Everything's in English. But if I went to the Greek and Hebrew, you can't reference that. Because you know Greek and Hebrew. That's Nicolaitism. That is Robert Breaker. That is Gene Kim. That is Andrew Sluter. That is Hoffman. That is John Davis. That is the whole rotten system at PBI. I'm going to deal more with that. Use Greek and Hebrew lexicons not only to amplify a word in the authorized version, but to teach it. He's having you want to corrupt Greek and Hebrew texts to teach English. For example, use the Hebrew for Cain. See, this is like hidden knowledge now. And the student's supposed to sit back and say, ooh, Cain means iron spear. Ooh, boy, I wish I knew that Hebrew. Ooh, I wish I knew that Greek. That insight that only Greek and Hebrew can get you. And then you can point out the place that spears and iron have in the Bible. Did God tell you to connect Cain with spears and iron in the Bible? No. No. Now, this is in English somewhere. I haven't checked the word. Maybe it's an etymology. You can look at etymology in English. Maybe it kind of shows up as iron. But the King James Bible for King James Bible believers is a self-contained dictionary. We don't run to Greek and Hebrew. Why? The Greek and Hebrew are dead. The lexicons are corrupted. And it leads to Nicolaitism. That's where you get from these guys who are real Bible believers. The word means an iron spear. You do not ought to correct the English. You teach the English. What he's telling you is to teach the English from the Hebrew people, which only he can know. You can't look up the word. You don't know word. You don't know the alphabet, Hebrew alphabet. You don't know what the word Cain means, and be able to look at it, like a Hebrew lexicon, and say, "Oh yeah, he's took the book away from you. He's taken that teacher's taken that book away from you, and said you can't read Greek and Hebrew. I can. I'm going to show you something that you don't know, and you can never know, because I know Hebrew and Greek. Do you have to autocorrect? You teach the English, correct the English. You teach the English. That is what you're supposed to do. A Bible teacher. You're supposed to be a Bible teacher. No, you're supposed to. Yeah, you're supposed to be a Bible teacher teaching English. You're supposed to be a Bible teacher teaching from the English Bible. The King James Bible is the received text, not the Greek and Hebrew. All Hebrew and Greek text lexicons are corrupt. And if you run to them, what you're doing is set up a Nicolaitan system, which is what these guys are, and that's why they're all puffed up. That is why all of them, without exception, are puffed up egomaniacs. Now, Sluter didn't go to PBI, so he's not running to Hebrew and Greek. He doesn't know any of that. But that's what breakers do. Now, King James Bible believe him. And I'm sure if you look at Kim, I'm sure you can find some of that stuff in Kim. Okay, so Leviathan can mean coiled, twisted, or water monster. Then show the connection with Isaiah 27:1-2 and Revelation 12:1-8 in the English. What do I need to look at the Hebrew for? Coiled monster. English for. Do not correct any English with the Hebrew. No, but you're saying that there's something more in the Hebrew that you can't find in the English. Point out that the writing of the divorcement, he loves this one, that the Pharisees mentioned Matthew 19 as an apostate Bible, when he gives the Greek for that, Biblion, apostatio, in the Greek text. We use the term here as the apostates use it. Do not touch the words writing of divorcement in the English text. It doesn't matter if you don't touch it. It doesn't matter. As soon as you went to the Greek, you're telling your students there's something there you can't see, that only you can see, because you know the Greek. You know something they don't know. And if you get in front of a pulpit, that's exactly what you're telling them. Oh, look at this. Biblion apostio. A writing of divorcement means an apostate Bible. And the Laodicean age got apostate Bibles in 1880. Well, wow. I wish I knew Greek. I could see that. See? Let's see here. Do you get the idea? Okay. I use 26 English translations, a German version, Luther, Spanish version, Latin version, 3 Greek testaments, with references to two others, Allen and Metzger, with Barry's and Tellini, a Hebrew edition of the Old Testament by Kittel, one of the most corrupt guys, and one of the Hebrew Publishing Company, the International Standard Bible, etc. Let's see, a shelf of books by Kenneth Worth, a Greek grammar by E.T. Robinson, and about 200 books by Gregory, blah, blah, blah. He talks about a bunch of, I use books written by Sod-Save liberals, and these include Greek texts published by the worst pro-Catholic apostates in Europe and America. I do not believe any of them. I believe the book that I'm called the thief, but you're going to use them. Well, what are you using them for? If you're using Greek and Hebrew text, you're using them to undermine the English. This is what Ripperger and Waite had the disagreement on. You can't go to Greek and Hebrew. It's in English. You go to English dictionaries. You have a problem with an English word, you find it in the English. You don't find it in Greek and Hebrew. Use whatever you need to explain, expound the Hebrew text. You do not have to alter one word of the text. You do not have to add words into the text or subtract words from the text, as your mother Eve did. Preach it, teach it. You need some background on the Pauline epistle. You'll find 10 unsafe historians, and so on. It says here on page 11, in using Greek grammars, use a large lexicon and constantly point to your students that Greek words can be translated. I teach them Greek words. Can be translated all kinds of ways. Did Breaker tell you that? When he sprung the word doulos on you? I didn't tell you that. I didn't tell you that. That was phony. I hate to tell you, I hate to go into the Greek, but here's the word doulos. yeah. Can translate all kinds of ways, and the strict accuracy about which the scholars talk about is largely hidden. So what do you want to Greek and Hebrew words for? All the meanings are contextual, just like in English. Let's see here. Show them, for example, a dozen words in the Holy Spirit used in the New Testament which were never used in a sense by any Greek writer before they show up in the New Testament. Show them how even Theodore will not stick to strict accuracy with faced with monogenate, which is obviously a compound word. So you want to in the Greek here. Let's see. And pray for wisdom. Okay. He says, our second requirement is that you use all reference materials judiciously, being careful to extract only that which would help the student learn the meaning of the English text. As given in the Bible, he's supposed to be learning. Going to Hebrew and Greek doesn't help you learn English. One bit. Because they don't know the Greek and Hebrew. The people listening to it. They have to learn the Greek and Hebrew. That's why PBI teaches Greek and Hebrew. You're not teaching the English Bible. You're teaching Greek and Hebrew so people can see something in the English word that is not, it doesn't relate to English, but it's underneath the English and say, wow, look at this. Look what the Greek and Hebrew says. And then start comparing it with other Greek and Hebrew words. Anything from any reference that contradicted a text, corrected, altered, or added to or subtracted from it was simply to be discarded. Any number of translations, Greek texts, commentaries, sermons, grammars, and dictionaries could be used as long as the teacher stuck to the rule that where they contradicted the text of the Holy Bible, they were to be ignored. This would include all authors, preachers, teachers, scholars, who all rules. See, he just thinks because you don't change the word of the King James Bible, it's okay to go into Greek and Hebrew. No, you've cast doubt on the efficacy of the English word. You're telling the people that there's something they can't see and that only you can see because you know Greek and Hebrew. It's an apostate Bible, and it gives you a Greek word. See, it's really apostate Bible. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that fascinating? Bill of Divorcement. It's really an apostate Bible. Gee, in 1880, the Laodicean age, you got an apostate Bible. Wow! If you knew Greek, you would have seen that. Page 14. Let's see. Point 5. Now, this is 4 of the issue, how to get to a meaning of a passage. Now, and not until now, go to 3 different Greek texts or Hebrew texts and look up the words in a Hebrew or Greek lexicon. He's telling you, you got to know Greek and Hebrew, people. That's not King James only. And that's not defending the King James Bible from people who went to the Greek and Hebrew to attack an English word. Which is what the purpose of learning the words and say, no, you can be translated differently. You should be able to read a lexicon, and be able, when guys went to it, it says doulos. And you can look at the lexicon, it says doulos, it can mean servant as well. So, but there you go. They're the real King James Bible believers. Remember that. He has a Nicolaitan system set up where you run to Greek and Hebrew. It doesn't matter if you're changing English words. You're telling people that they can find something in the Greek and Hebrew they can't find in English. That means that these guys who come from PBI are all puffed up egomaniacs and trying to tell you, well, I know the Greek. Let me show you something in the Greek that you're not seeing in the English, like the word servant, slave. Now, we understand context. What tells the meaning of an English word. But running to Greek and Hebrew lexicons, you run into corrupt garbage. That's the whole purpose of the whole book that Lippingham put out. Every Greek and Hebrew lexicon was made by a bunch of perverts. It's like, they're useless. They're useless because the average man, the purpose of the English Bible is for the average man to be able to read it, pick up, and know exactly what the words of God are. There's nothing underneath it that he needs to know. None of the language. He doesn't need the lexicons. He doesn't need knowledge of Greek. He doesn't need knowledge of Hebrew. But any teacher who gets up there and runs to the Hebrew and Greek immediately tells the person, well, something. I have some knowledge that you don't have. I have some knowledge you can't have until you learn the Greek and Hebrew, which they're not going to do. And not required to do. But you're going to ooh and ah with that. Well, the word Nisam means, earring as opposed to nose ring and this, that, and the other thing. Phonies. Absolute phonies. When you get knowledge, you get anything with Hebrew and Greek and stuff like that, and you start to work with where you're at, there's always a great temptation to use it in some way. But you got to jettison. The English is the text. Again, you can use it as self-defense when these guys get up and say, "Well, there's no way the King James translators could get that word from a particular Greek word or Hebrew word," and you say, "Oh yeah, here's the proof. You can get that word from the Hebrew and Greek." So the King James translator got it right in English, but that's not going underneath the text and telling you, "Oh, you can't something in there. Let's make a connection here to Cain, and let's go look at iron and look at this, look at that." Because you look at the Hebrew word. So let me stop and put this up. Amen. Thank you.